Hello, welcome to Having Fun with Embossing Folders. This class was originally taught on July 20, what is today? 8th, 5th, 25th? It was a Thursday. And I forgot to start the video at the beginning. So those of you that attended the class, you know that I said I would redo the very beginning. So for those of you that are just checking in and watching it for the first time, welcome. These are the 3 cards that we're going to make. We're going to start with this one briefly. Then we'll go to this one, and this will be the last one we'll do. I'm going to set this one aside, and for a minute, I'm going to set this aside. The reason we're starting with this one is because we're going to take our ink pad and we're going to color the entire back of the vellum. So this is a vellum piece here. And we're going to use an embossing folder to raise up the pattern, and then we'll use another ink pad to color it. But it takes a while for the ink to dry. So we need to do that first. By the time we get to that, it will be dry. After I finished this, I decided I didn't really like this color combination. Some people might love it, and that's great. I tried it with this color combination, and I like that. It might be nice with a light green and a navy. Okay. And I think for this card, that's what I'll do, seeing so I've done this one and this one. So I'm going to show you what to do here. You're going to choose 2 colors that you like that go together. And you're going to color the background the lightest color. So this one was done with Sunray and not that one, Sunray and Terracotta. And this one was done with Dusty Pink and Navy. And I'm going to do this one with Frayed Leaf and Navy and see how that turns out. So what you want to do is you're going to take out your piece of vellum, and you're going to take out your ink. Oops, not that one, the light one first. I'm going to take out the ink, and you're going to cover the whole thing. So I'm going to actually take my ink pad to the paper, and I'm going to go over the entire thing. And that seems pretty dark. I wouldn't worry about the lines, although I will try to get them at least all going in the same direction, or maybe right off the page. Yeah. And what I did is I trimmed it down anyway. That must be stuck on the bottom. Yeah. Okay. So there it is. Whoops, whoops. And the more I do this, the more ink I'm getting on, and the longer it's going to take to dry. All right. So I'm going to close that up, and I'm going to set it aside to dry, and I'm going to pick it up with my trusty reverse tweezers. I happen to have a fan going in the background, so I'm going to kind of set it in front of that so it will dry. So that part is done. I want to wash this off because I'm sure I got some green ink on it. Oh, back. Oh, and I definitely got green ink on it. And now we're going to go to this card. So what you want to do for that is you want to get out the colors that you're going to use for the flowers. I used Rose Petal set and what was this? Northern Shore set of inks. But you can use whatever colors you want. I happen to have done mine with two colors. So I have two colors of flowers. You could do them all the same. It's just whatever you want. And I encourage creativity. You don't need to make your card look exactly like mine. So I'm using my sticky mat or my stamp wheel because it has a sticky mat. A little plug for Altenew, seeing though this is an Altenew class. This is the best tool I've ever used. I have the Misty stamp and I have the Tim Holtz stamp platform. This is the one I use. There are times when I use Tim Holtz's because it's wider. If I'm doing like a slimline or a long card. And on a rare occasion, I might use, I have the little Misty. And if I'm doing something small, I may pull that out, but this is just as easy. It also comes with this plate, which has, you can see over here, diagonal lines, which is great if you're going to be making some kind of wreath. You can see where it all is going to end up. I, on the other hand, wanted something that I can line up my sentiments with, which the Misty was easy. And then Altenew came out with this one, and you see it has good lines. I put a little dot at the top so I can always remember which side is top. Not that it matters which side, except once I start the card. And I also have, if I have it handy, which I may or may not. And of course, oh, there it is. This is, and there's 3 that comes in the pack. So this is sized for, I don't know if you can see that, A2. And then the other 2 are sized for, let's see, this is 4 1/4 square. You can see it's a 4 1/4 square. And this one is sized for a 5 by 5 square. I'm trying to get that so you can see it. Wait a minute, there it is, 5 by 5 square. And I like using this because once I put it down here, I can use this to line up my paper and it will be exactly centered on the platform. And if I'm going to do something that stamps around, that's great to be able to make sure that it's going to be in the same corner. So I love this. This is the ultra sticky mat and it is very sticky. And I would suggest maybe getting the lower tack one, because I have found that when I pull up my paper, number one, it sticks so bad that when I pull it up, it rips the back of the paper and it curls. But when I take this off of here, I'll show you a trick on how to get it off without that happening. So I'm going to take this is my Bold Bouquet stamp set. And I'm going to position this in the center. Like that. And put this on. And today I'm going to be using the jet black ink. But if you have Altenew's obsidian pigment, that works great too. Matter of fact, I think that's what I used on the card I just showed you. I think that's what I used here. And when I, oops, push that down, the stamp just sticks, which is really nice. So you can, it's like any stamp platform, you can make sure that you can re-ink without making it look blurry or a double image. This is one of the new fresh dye inks as opposed to the crisp dye inks. This is one of their newer formulas. I think it blends a little better. The black is really black. So I do like this I don't have a lot of them because I just haven't replaced my old ones. I do have all in the little cubes. I do have all of their old crisp dye inks. Just like many crafters, I had to have them all. All right, it's not quite there in the center. Let me give it a little more pressure. See if that helps. And I think that's perfect. So let me just set that off to the side. And I'm going to pull this off because I need the stencils to stick to that. So now I'm going to get out the stencils. And I'm going to show you a few tricks. We are going to start stenciling with stencil number 3 because it's letting you stencil along these. Let me bring this down so it's closer. Along these, and these are where the highlights would be. So this is where the leaf is turned up. So it would be darker under here and lighter here. So I want to start with that one. And before we go any further, I want to make sure this is dry. Actually, I think what I actually did in class is I stamped this first, then did the background of the yellow. Or what color did I use? Green, the vellum. But I'm going to make sure this is completely dry and set. Because I'm blending with brushes, I don't want the ink to smear. This is a dye ink, so it dries faster than the pigment inks, but still, I've noticed that if it's not dry, it will smear. So this is going to line up here, and this is going to line up here. So let's line that up there. These do line up really nicely once you get it oriented, because it goes right up to the black line. And then I can do this, and now that's, not going to move. And I'm going to get out my, let's see, I got to get my blending brushes here. And I'm using the lightest. And what I used for this is I started with Puffy Heart. I didn't start with the lightest of the pinks because I thought it was too light. And I may have some ink on this already, so I'm just going to do this anyway. And because this would be the lightest part, let's see if anything came off. Yeah, nothing. Okay, because this is the lightest part. I want to go lightly when I'm inking. So I'm tapping on that. And then I always like to tap off so it doesn't get too dark. I can always make it darker. I can't make it lighter. And I want the color to go all the way to the base or to the tip, which would normally be the lightest part, which is why we're starting with this stencil and the lightest ink. And here, I want it can be darker here because that's where it would overlap in shadow. So I don't mind it being a little dark there. So I kind of go along that and then out to the tips. Same here, it'll be darker down here and then out to the tips. And then that's done. And then we've got this piece here. I might have to look at my layering guide. Got this little piece here. And it's going to line up with this. So this piece is going to line up here, like, no, 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 there we go, there we go, like that and that. And to tell you the truth, I don't think I did this in the class. I think I forgot this piece, which wouldn't matter because that's still the lightest part. And lightest could be white. Again, I can do a little more darker in the base and then on out. All right. And that looks perfect to me. Now we're going to go to stencil 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to do all stencil 1, 2, and 3 with the lightest color. And then do stencil, then go back and do the middle color, and then go back and do the darkest color. So this is going to line up. Does it go? Upside down. Right here. There we go. And again, I want the pink to go all the way to the end, the tip of the flower, with it being darker at the base. So I'm still got that lightest color. Start at the base and work out. It might be darker right in there where that's overlapping. And we'll go back with the medium and dark colors on these also. I want to make sure I get the lightest color all the way to the tip of the flower. Darker at the base and then blend out. Oops. And I said always tap off, and I didn't here. Which is, I mean, it'll be fine. I am not a perfectionist because I can't. No matter what I do, there's always some mistake. And I'm not going to start all over. So that's just me. Again, I'm doing the base here. Can't even see. Does this help? A little bit. And then working out to the end. The base here, and then working out to the end. All right. So that's all of stencil 1 for the lightest color. I'm going to remove that and get stencil number 2. Tap off, start at the base where it can be darker and move out. Oh, you know what? I forgot I was doing 2 colors and I did the whole thing in pink. Well, this one might be partially purple because I'm going to continue with the blue on this. I got into a rhythm and then I forgot. All right, so I'm going to get my lightest blue, and I did use the lightest one of the Northern Shore, the icy water. And I'm going to go back and add this. Starting in the center and working out. And I think, yeah, kind of like the two-tone. Now I'll pick up stencil number 3. It's not 3. Here it is. And No, we did that. Oh, 4 is the leaves. So we started with 3. We don't need that one again. So I'm going to go back to stencil number 1. And we'll do the medium colors. So while I've got this out, I'm going to go and add a little blue here. Certainly didn't need to, but all right. And probably what I should do, I'm taking, that's not a dried cloth, a dry cloth and kind of wiping this up a little bit. Now, putting away the lightest colors, and we'll go to the darkest, the next one. And I say that we do it this way because I'm using the same two, the same 2 brushes. I don't have one of these little brushes for every single color. So once I clean this, I want to start and do all the lights, and then I'll use the same brush and do all the mediums and use the same brush and do all the darks. Otherwise, I'd have to be cleaning and cleaning and cleaning in between each shade of the color. So we're going to go to purple wine. Wait a minute. No, we're not. We're going to go to okay. I'm going to go to purple wine. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Tap off, start at the base and work out. And this time, maybe you're not going to work quite as far out. You won't go all the way to the tip with that second darkest color. Base and work out. I did it again. This is supposed to be blue, isn't it? All right. Then I'll go to the blue. So I need the medium color for that. So this one is Winter Lake. Now, this said this is going to be a purple flower. I do want to kind of wipe this off though. Notice I'm not wiping over the holes in the stones. Base, moving out, base, moving out, base, moving out. And we'll move to stencil number 2 and do the same thing. Maybe I'll start with the blue this time, so I'll remember. So then we'll go, this is the last color, so now we need the darkest. Right? Very gently here, because this is going to be much darker. Matter of fact, I think let's take a look at it. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll go to the darkest pink, which is I have deep iris here, but to tell you the truth, it's not That is shades of purple. Red Cosmos. So what am I using here? Or rose petal rather. Rose petal. 1, 2. No, I have misplaced rose petal. And seeing so this is what I had out. This is what I used in the original class. So I will go ahead and use that. Base and out. Base and out. And now I've forgotten. Did I do this? Yeah, I did this one already. All right, let's take a peek at it. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. Now I'm going to go to stencil number 4 for the leaves, and there it's in 2 pieces. So this is part of them, and this is the rest of them. So I'm going to line this up here like that. And for the leaves, I'm using these 2 colors. So the frayed leaf and the forest glade. You use whatever 2 colors you'd like. So I'm taking my lightest one and I'm doing the whole leaf, and then I'm going to do the darkest one with well, the next color anyway, the darkest of the 2. I'm going to do the base. So oh, always the base is going to be darker. Oh dear. I got this lined up. I did not get this lined up right down here. Adjust it a little bit. I'm sure I go all the way to the tips of the leaves. But because the color, when you use the brush, comes out darkest at the beginning, you want to make sure that's at the base rather than side. If you want it darker at the base. If you want it darker at the tips, go this way instead. All right, I'm not forgetting this piece. See, these aren't colored, so I'll line those up. Just like that. Being careful that you don't use this, because that's not in this set. And that would be just like me. Go right into that one. Now that one is done. And let's do, oh, why did I take it off? We're going to go back now and do the darkers, the dark color. So put braid leaf back and take out forest glades. And as you see, it's already darker at the base. So if you don't want to make it even darker, don't do this step. Really depends on what you're looking for. And I've learned that just because I like it that way doesn't mean everybody does. I have a friend, she's really into mixed media and she's very free flowing. And I showed her some of my cards. I said, "Oh, I hate this one." "Oh, I love that one," she says. I'm like, so because it's, more free flowing, I'm a little bit, I work at that, so it's not so much, but I'm a little bit by the book. I love to watch children do art because they don't know the proper way of doing things. And I'd be tempted to say, no, 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 that's not the right way. No, no, that's not the color that you should make that elephant. And I have to resist that because creativity is whatever you want it to be. So remove the stencil so I could get these, the base of these. And we are done. Well, we're done with the coloring. Now what we're going to do is if you have one of those old embossing folders this is kind of a plain one. You wouldn't want one that's too busy. We're going to do that next. So remember I said if I pull this up sometimes it rips the paper. So what I've learned, if I do this and I just roll this down like that, comes off beautifully. And it doesn't curl. Sometimes when I peel it up, it curls the paper. All right, so I'm going to go step over there. So you can't see, step over there where my embossing machine is. And I'm going to emboss this with this old fashioned stencil, embossing folder. If you're doing this, remember you're going to have to change your sandwich because these are so much thinner. So give me a sec to do that. Change my sandwich here. So this is what it looks like. Oh, can you hear me? This is what it looks like so far. And that gives a very interesting texture, I think. But we're not done. Now I'm going to take this one out, which is the one that goes with it. And I'm going to line this up. So I'm lining this picture up with this embossing. When we do this, of course, it's going to flatten the Swiss dots, but we're still going to see the texture, even though the dots are flattened. All right. So you can see I've lined that up pretty good. And I'm going to rearrange my sandwich and go and emboss this and be right back.
Lori, can you hear me even though you're not on camera?
Yep, I'm right here. I can
Okay,
hear you.
Melissa wants to know, since the paper is wet from the ink, does that mean that you don't need to spritz the paper with water before embossing?
I did not spritz. If you did spritz, you'd want to make sure that you spritzed on the back so that the ink didn't run. But here, oops, I don't want to put that there. Hold on. My plate's back. And now here's what it looks like. And you can see, I hope you can see anyway, that it's, there we go, that it's lifted up here. And you have the dotted Swiss in the background. It's just another thing to add more texture to um to the card. And these two little dots didn't flatten out because they were sticking out just a little bit, but everything else got flat, you know, the Swiss dots got flattened. But I think it makes an interesting now what I would do, because these need to be, maybe I should have done it before I embossed. I would get a gold pen of some kind and just add gold to these. Let me hold that up for you to see. Yeah. The next thing we would do is to cut out our thank you or whatever.
Lori,
Yes,
excuse me, just because we have another question. Bev
sure.
is saying she's a newbie and she just wants to know why you would spritz the cardstock before you put it into the embossing.
Absolutely. So if you spritz it with a fine mist, sometimes I've heard people say they spritz just the back, sometimes they spritz both sides, and it depends, I think, on the paper. Um, it softens the fibers of the paper so that when you run it through the embossing machine, it makes it a little bit deeper. It isn't a big difference, but there is a difference. If you don't do it, it's not a big deal. You know, if you do it, that's great too. Boy, did this one turn out way more purple, and I'm sure I used the same. Oh, I thought I did anyway. Used the same colors there. Anyway, did that answer your question? Does that make sense to you? And I just added this as just something because this particular oh, this isn't the same one. Yes, it is. This particular stencil did not have a place to color the stamens in. Oh, you can't see. Color the stamens in. So you could have taken a black pen and colored those in. I happen to use a gold pen. These are the best metallic pens I've ever used, ever, ever, ever. And they're brand new to me. I was introduced to them. So, I mean,
Bev says thanks. That did answer her question for.
okay, great. All right. So now give me a moment so I can put all this away because we're done with this. And so I'm going to show you here. Oh, this is plain baby wipes, and that took off the pink pretty well there. I don't know why there was yellow on that. No, but I want to make sure these are clean before I put them away. It doesn't have a whole lot because that was just the light ones. These have little sharp points. And I want to make sure when I'm cleaning it that I rub in the direction so that it doesn't catch on that. That makes sense. Or just dab. I find stencils, or stick them, just stick them in a basin of water. That works pretty good too.
Lori Leslie says, I like how she likes how hers turned out, and she says, thanks, I learned something already.
Good, great. And the end, I'm hoping there'll be time to share. So please show us what you've done for those of you that are working along with me. All right, now let's see. I don't think I have them all. There's one. I am a terribly messy crafter. And I'm not good at putting my stuff away when I'm done. But when I'm videoing, and I've got to make sure I've got a clear space for you guys to see, I do have to make sure that I don't know where all that, well, this is green, so that's where it came from. Okay, so that can be set over there and out of the way. Probably should clean this. No, it's hard to tell if it's clean when it's black on black, isn't it? It's good enough for now. And I can put this away. I find that when you're making backgrounds, which with embossing folders, that's kind of what we're doing. I don't have a lot of, you need like die cut words for them to stand up and so you can see what you've, see the words for all the pattern. And I'm slowly adding some to my repertoire, but I don't have a lot. So do have thank you. I do have happy birthday. So that's why I did thank you. Now, I can't remember, but what I would do here is that I would mount this on paper like this with a coordinating color. If you don't have coordinating paper, what you could do, because this is yet another piece of paper on here. It's not the card, it's not the background, the card itself, is I would just take one of your ink pads and I would just go along the edge of it like this to color it. I'm just showing you briefly here so that you can do that. That makes sense to you. So you don't need to have all the different colors of paper. You just need an ink pad that you can color it with. And I probably should have used the lighter color, but doesn't matter. You get the idea. Or you could have used the blue, or you could have used the green. So what you would need to do for this is we'll take out a piece of black paper, which I probably don't even have cut. That's bad. And I used, not that one. I used this set, which was really kind of nice because it's a foiling set too. So you get these words, but you also can have the hot foil set. And then it cuts this out. So you can say, like, thank you. I could do thank you for everything here in gold. Or I could do just the thank you and then just have the everything. But I'm just doing it simply today by just taking the two words here. And I almost think I almost think I did that in navy blue, but I'm gonna do it in black today. Well, I guess I'm not doing it with this piece though. That's not. I'm so frugal. If this wasn't wrinkled, I probably would try to get it out of that, but let me get a new piece of black paper. And I'm just going to run this through my die cut machine and cut that out. And I might cut it out twice to give it some lift. Now that I took my, there it is. I had to take, can you hear me, Sandy, from over here?
Yes, I can hear you.
I had to take my embossing machine or die cut machine and put a new sandwich in. I had to find all the pieces again. All right. And I think I will cut it out twice. And oh shoot, that one didn't cut out. That did. Yeah, I think that's navy. And this one did. I think, oh, that didn't cut. I need to replace my cutting mats on my machine. I think that's what's happening. Because it doesn't cut well. No, that's not.
I think it's good that everybody sees that we all have these kinds of struggles and it doesn't run smoothly and perfectly every time, even for those of us who are all too new educators.
And for those of us that practice, but I, and redid this, but I didn't do the sentiments this afternoon as I know how to do that. Although I did do some sentiments and I thought, well, I should have that cut out ahead of time. But there's the thank you. And I'm just going to go, you can see that it just didn't cut through. And I don't know whether I had it off a little bit or whether I just need to change I have a new one, so I think I'll probably just change that. And I think we'll be fine. And because this came in 2 pieces, which is kind of nice, I don't have to have it all in a line. So I use a liquid glue, and this is my very favorite. I use this and this. I don't know why anybody would want to use anything else. All right, so, oops, let's get the A out of there. And I can take and literally draw. I even have a smaller pen, but it dries too quickly. The line is too tiny. Glue pen. And I can't see, which is why I have little papers here. Black on black might look good on the camera, but it's not good for me to see what I'm doing here. So if I put thank here, now I'm trying to decide, do I want the thanks up here? Or do I want it down here? I think I want it down here. I think I want it here. So if I put the thank there, kind of covers up my gold stamens though. Oops. Uh-oh. I do glue it down to this. There we go. Come on. There. And I'll put the U here. I could not survive without my reversed tweezers. Oh. Thank you. And then for a little added white, I do that. It's just an old acrylic block, which I hardly ever use anymore because I've got the stamp wheel. We did this card first because I knew it was going to take the longest. The other two cards will go quickly.
We're right at about the halfway point.
Yep. Oops. Well, now it's on the floor. Wonder how many cat hairs got stuck to the glue in the back? One or two. And that is that. All right, we are going to move on to, oops, ooh, this is not dry yet. Mine is not. I put a lot of ink on that. So maybe we won't move on to that. But let's move that over there. What I can do is help it along a little bit. I am just going to, we'll do this one last. It's still a little bit damp. We'll just do that one last. Right. And yours may be dry. Because you didn't put as much ink on it as I did. Okay, so we'll move on to this one. This is fun. This one is fun. So this, we're going to use Yupo paper or a synthetic paper. I have another YouTube video, Background Bonanza, I think it is, that I do, talk about using alcohol inks for this. So I'm gonna get out, with any luck, let go. This. This is a craft mat that I use for alcohol. Right this way. And I don't care if it gets messed up because it already pretty is messed up. Let me raise this. So for this one, we need the alcohol. Well, we need the alcohol inks and we need the Yupo paper. I know it's in here someplace. It does look different. All right, as I'm digging around for this, I know it's in here because I there it is. But the back isn't shiny, and so I was looking at the back. So this is the Yupo paper. This is actual Yupo paper. There are, you can use craft plastics. There are other brands of alcohol paper. Don't feel that you have to use the Yupo paper. I have used craft plastic, and that's what it's called, craft plastic. And I saw a review of it, and it seems to be much better because you can completely wipe the ink off of it, the alcohol ink off of it, if you don't like it. Whereas the Yupo paper will stain. All right, and I'm using, well, I seem to be on a roll here with pinks and blues. Wonder why. So we're using these two colors, Deep Iris and Ocean Waves, or you use two colors of alcohol inks that you like to make sure that they will mix together. In other words, I wouldn't use, say, green and orange because they're going to mix together and make mud. So use colors that are going to mix on the color wheel.
You need to make sure that they're not complementary colors on the opposite, like green and red, like what you said, or,
Right.
you know, yellow and purple that are opposite complementary colors. They should be next to each other or in the same area of the wheel.
And you're going to need alcohol. This is, I got at Walgreens. And it is 91% alcohol and it works great. And it's cheap. You could get the blending solution from Ranger, and there are some things that you would need that blending solution for when you're working with alcohol inks, but not what I'm doing today. So what you're going to do, and some people like, I've seen lots of crafters put rubber gloves on because alcohol ink is messy. I don't care if I get ink on my fingers. It just tells me I'm an artist, right? And I won't be bothered. You know, I want to feel it. And the rubber gloves, the fingers stick out. I don't want it. But that's me. And you want something to blow with. And where is my blower? If you don't have a blower, you could use a straw. And where is my blower? You would think if I was, oh, there it is right there in front of me. That's me. This is the blower I got. It literally blows. You could use a straw. Oops, I'm leaking. I'm leaking alcohol. This. What first thing you're going to want to do, well, I'm going to open these up so I don't have to spend time opening them because alcohol ink can dry rather quickly. It's not immediate, but it can dry quite quickly. And I don't want to be fussing. You're going to take your ink. I put this, or your alcohol, and this is just a fine, fine, fine tip squeeze bottle. And I'm going to, whoa, this is leaking. I'm wondering if all of a sudden I have more of a leak than I thought. And I also would use alcohol with in a vented room. I've got a fan going on in here with windows open or something. And I want to fill, I might need to get a new bottle. And I did this afternoon and it was not leaking, so who knows. I want to fill the paper with the alcohol, but I don't want it to be too puddled up. I don't want it to be too deep. And I can always add more alcohol or more ink. Then I'm going to take my two colors and I'm going to put some dots on one side and some dots on the other side. And I'm going to let them mix. And because the paper's wet with the alcohol, it will run and mix. Kind of like watercolor if the paper is wet. And I can take my blowing tool and move it around this way. And you just literally blow it around, move it around until you like it. There is no wrong or right. It's just, oh gosh, this is so much fun. I like mine to go right to the edge because it's going to be the background of my card. And I can see, and I don't want this to be too dark. So I can add more ink, but I'll probably be very careful with how much I add. That's just me. And of course, blowing makes it dry fast too. I'm going to put a little more ink here, just to kind of fill that spot. I'm going to put a little more alcohol here, and then that'll make that run. And I can fill that. I think alcohol ink is one of the funnest, ooh, pardon me for those grammar teachers out there, medium to play with. Now, you don't have to, but you can, if you splash, you see where it, let's just bring this down. See where I splashed? There's alcohol here. See where it splashed and it leaves splotches? If you like that look. If you don't, if I add a little bit more and then blow it around again, I can get that all to. I can just play. And the craft paper, I understand, if I don't like it, I could add alcohol and wipe the whole thing clean and start again. Let's add a little more alcohol here. And then blow on it. I want a little more ink here. Oop, probably need some alcohol there too. Just a drop. And I think I'm going to stop there because that looks pretty good. Now, sometimes I don't have a lot on this one. Where there's the alcohol builds up, when it's not completely dry, it can be sticky. And in my other video, I do show that. And you can take used foiling paper. I'm going to try it right here. And put it down in, oops, wrong way. Wrong way. Ugh. It's supposed to go this way. And then it sticks like that. I have pulled the paper up. I don't know if I can recover this. Well, in my mind, that's good enough. Okay, don't do what I just did. You want to make sure the shiny side is up. And then sometimes the ink will, the foil will stick to the ink. Like that. Okay, don't do what I did. Put it the wrong way. So, and I don't know, I think this is just going to make it worse. Or not. Well, I am going to have a sentiment on it. So you get the idea. Make sure you have the pretty side up. And that is, and then also you could spritz. So if I spritz it, Look what it does. And that's pretty cool too. And now you can't even see where the mistake was.
Lori
Yep,
Calfana says, just cover it up with the sediment.
I probably will. And I'm wondering now that I've spritzed it and I have more spots, I might be able to add a little more gold foil to it. I mean, it's just fun to play with. So there are a few things that did go wrong here. Number one, I made a mistake. Number two, I got way too much alcohol on there. So it started to kind of soak in on the back. That's not normal. So I don't know what's going on with my bottle. So those things probably won't happen to you because you'll get a bottle that doesn't leak. And also I did the thing upside down. Let's see what happens if I try this down here. Pretty side up. There, you can see where it's stuck there. Yeah. I just think that's just, I just think that's cool. But that's just me. So don't throw away your, I mean, this may be pretty much done now, but don't throw away your gold foil paper until you've played with it with alcohol inks. All right, so there's that. And now what I'm going to do, oh, that doesn't go on. Now what I'm going to do, hoping that my mistake hasn't really messed up the embossing folder part. I think I will. I'm putting the cover on here so it doesn't spill, because that would make a mess. Come on. Come on. There we go. I think I will try to dry this a little bit. Now we're going to take out another embossing folder, and we're going to use this embossing folder for these other two cards. And we're going to run it through so that the label is up or the bumpy side is here. This is the flat side, this is the bumpy side. So I'm going to put this down here. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. And because this is sort of a grid, I kind of want it to be straight in there. And it looks pretty straight. All right, I'm going to run it through my embossing machine or my die cut machine or whatever you want to call it. So now it looks like this. And this is fine just the way it is. You could just leave it like that. Or, which is what I'm going to do. Over there I have. Just looking for that. I'm going to take this. This is actually a sander. And I'm going to sand off the top of these. Now that's pretty cool. Now you can see it. And then what I did is I used this set, Hello, Sweet Friend, and I used, this is Ocean Waves. I use Ocean Waves ink and inked up the paper before I cut it out, and then it matched perfectly. Any questions on what I did with that? We doing okay?
No questions, but that embossing folder sure looks beautiful with that alcohol ink. It looks really
Yeah.
elegant.
I love it. So now we're going to go on to the last card, which I hope this is dry now. Almost. You know what happens if I do this? I can just dry it off. There we go. So with this one, this is a few things you can do. When you run when you run vellum through an embossing folder, it will crack and break unless you run it through with another sheet of paper. So let's do that. I'm using the same embossing folder. Oops, I need to clean this off, or there's going to be alcohol. Cleans that off really nice. So I'm going to run this. Oops, let's try this side off. I am going to run this through with another sheet of paper with it. And trying to get this together without it slipping isn't easy. And it will not crack. Oh, watch it make a liar out of me now. All right. And you get a bonus, because this I can use on another card. And there's that. And there is no cracking in that. Now, the beauty of this is a few things. Number one, it's pretty just like that. Just like that. If I flip it over, it's white. It's pretty like that. Either way works. Or on the bumpy side, we can take another color. And I'm using these big ink pads because they are big, and I don't want to get down in there. I just want it on the top. And I'm just going to very gently do that. And there you go. So anyway, it looks any way you, your song, I think it's by Journey, any way you want it. I can even turn it over and get an interesting pattern on this. I'm going to dry this. think it's quite dry, but there we go. And then what you would want to do, you probably would want to get some double-sided adhesive like this from Altenew. And you could have stuck this down first to the double-sided adhesive, run this through, it won't crack and it's already adhered. But, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to peel one side off, and I always have a hard time peeling one side off. And it's never the side I think it's going to be. It's this side. Yeah, this side is the side that's peeling off. And I'm going to peel half of it off, or a piece of it off. Oh, shoot. Oh no, it's going to be difficult. Okay, let's do it this way then. This is the side. And then I can line up this. And because this was cut to the same size, and then I can stick that down there. And I can pull this back. There we go. And then for this one, let me wipe my hands off here. Between the alcohol ink and the regular ink. And well, that proves I'm an artist, right? I chose Happy Birthday. And for this one, I did 2 layers of the base, and I colored the base the same color as the accent. And then I did 1 layer of the top, and I colored it the same color as I colored the main color. And then when I put it on here, I offset this. It might have been just as good if I had just left the background white. I found that the contrast, without the white back here, the contrast wasn't good enough. So for those, I used one of these sets. It's this set here. And it's got, that's the happy, so it's got the outline, or the shadow and the regular. And you can use, you know, whatever you want on that. Oh, I didn't use that. I used Happy Birthday. Huh, did not use that. I use this one. So somebody, and I wish I could remember who, she's an Altenew educator, and she suggested that you store the die cuts in an envelope. You stick this, because it's all sticky here. This is all sticky, and then you have to peel them up, and then if you just put an envelope there, you can just stick everything in there. And I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, I use these. So the shadow, I did 2 of, and offset 1 of the white one, and then colored. Be sure that you color, well, it doesn't matter so much on the shadow, but it definitely does on the words. Color the paper first before you cut it out. It's so much easier, because trying to color these and you're swiping the ink pad and the letters are bending. take it from
Sorry,
experience.
Jen says that was Linda Fields who had that idea.
That's it. That's it. That's who it was. Couldn't think of her name. I see her face. I've signed up for one of her classes. She's awesome. She is awesome. I'm not going to finish these because you all know how to do that. Is that okay? Does anybody have a problem with that? Because I have other suggestions of other ones I made that I want to show you.
No objections so far.
All right. So this one, I used this embossing folder. And I used alcohol markers. I don't know that they were this particular color, but because it was already in stripes, I used my alcohol. This was after I embossed it. And remember, I had to have, I don't know what I did with this one. I had to have another sheet of paper under there so it wouldn't crack. And I'm using for this side, I'm using the deboss side. Now, it doesn't matter, but because I was coloring on this, I wanted the flatter side. And if I do this, you can see better. So what I did is I took the alcohol marker, and the darker one I did every other stripe. And then I did the lighter one every other stripe. And then I took the spritzer and spritz it, and you get all those little like peppering with it. So that's another way of using it, an embossing folder. Then I did, I'm sure you've seen this. This was nothing that I've come up with. I could only find a sample that I did with it. Oh, here it is. So this one is, I think they're calling it blackout. So what you do is that, in this case, I just kept it white. I have seen where they have colored underneath and then used black, but this one I just kept it white. So I embossed this, and this is the debossed side. So if you were using paper that made a difference on which way you went with it, if it's just white, it probably doesn't matter, but you want to use this side. And then after you've embossed it on the back side, on the flat side, you take, in this case, I took just a purple ink pad, and I just went down like this, and you can see the little, kind of the little stripes there. And I was just not too heavy so that I didn't get down way in there, but heavy enough that I colored in all the part that stuck up the most. Sticked up the most. Okay. I apologize to all those grammar teachers out there again. And believe it or not, I used to teach English. I know the difference. Anyway, that comes out pretty cool. And I've seen
Hannah says that that's beautiful.
it did come out pretty nice, I think. And then this is just another one I did using the same technique as I did with this. It's just that I added more ink to it, and so it came out darker. And then I added the gold, and you can see that and I did not have the problem that I had with this one, where the alcohol just fell out. I'm showing this to you because you may like it. I did not like the way it turned out. It did not turn out the way I had imagined in my head, but that doesn't mean somebody else doesn't like it. This is watercolor paper, and I knew I was going to be using this embossing folder. So what I did, I said, okay, so the flower's going to be in the center. So I took yellow, oranges in the middle of of this watercolor paper and just put it on, just darker in the center and lighter as I went out and around. And then I would hold that underneath here and say, oh yeah, that's about right. And then I did, well, the next layer is going to be green because that's going to be the leaves and maybe a few of those. And then I just did kind of this aqua blue for the background. I did all of that before I embossed it, just to give it kind of a free flow, not trying to make it anything, grand. Then I put it in here and I lined it up and I embossed it. And then I took a sander and I sanded down the tops of the embossing. I think I was hoping the paint would kind of blend out better, and I wasn't patient, I think. But those are some other 3D embossing, or yeah, 3D embossing folder uses that I have for you today. So
There you are.
there I am. Any questions? Any comments? Anything at all? And if you would like to show what you did, I would love to see it. And how
You
many?
can put your mics back on.
Yeah,
You can put your audio back on.
there's only 12 of us, so yeah, that's great. I would love. Oh, you're very welcome, Kaplana. Did I say that right? I hope. You're going to show can you show?
Yeah.
What you've done? I'd like to see it.
Okay.
And let's see if I can figure out how to. Do you know how to spotlight?
There she is. Yara.
Oh, no.
Oh, there you are. Okay,
Oh.
so this is the first one.
That came out beautiful.
I used the same thing as you did, the Swiss dots and the, because I had I have both things,
Yeah.
so I was able to do that one. For the second one, I use I can't even remember. Oh, Starburst.
Okay.
And the vellum didn't, I think I have to play with the sandwich on my thing because the race area wasn't so raised. So I did purple and purple,
Mm-hmm.
and this darker purple doesn't show too much.
Oh, yeah. But I get the idea. Yes, I bet if you used a bigger contrast,
Yeah.
like maybe a pink and a purple.
Well, I can see it in person. You can see the second color.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could use a darker one. And for the alcohol, but I still, because you can barely see the emboss.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the same
I like
problem as on this one. On this one, because it's vellum and it's translucent.
Mhm.
But on this one, because of the colors, you can barely see. There it is. You can see the
Yeah.
emboss, but it's not as deep as, even though it's a 3D embossing folder,
Right.
you can barely see it.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it because in person you can see it.
Well, that's all that really matters.
Well,
Anybody?
because whoever gets the card, they'll see the texture. They can feel it and see it. So
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else? Jen, did you want to? Yep.
Sure. Yep. All right. Okay, that's my first one.
Oh, wow. Yep, I like that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Look at that. That's really fabulous.
Thank you.
Came
Nice
very nice.
combination.
I love the colors and the the patterns. And again, 2 folders. Awesome. I love it. And then I did the pink and the blue. My blue smudge because I had the smaller navy, but I like it. I like the feel of it. So
Oh, yeah.
I will do something different with it, but I like that. I kind of was like, oh, it's not working out, but I like it. I will make it work when I
That
finish it.
looks almost a metallic. It
Yeah,
looks-
it's really different, you know. I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It
So I
looks
like
you know, one of those old tin press ceilings.
that's exactly
it
that's
looks
what it.
like
And I was
on the
thinking, I was like,
camera.
I like it. I definitely like it. My alcohol ink, I'm not too happy with, so I'm not going to show that. But I'm going to do something different next time because I don't like my colors. So
Okay. Okay. It's okay.
yeah,
Live and learn.
my alcohol inks, I'm not pleased with them. So yeah.
Which ones do you, is it the colors or is it the product? Which
It's
ones?
the product. It's the product. Because I have Spectrum Noir from Sarah Davies and All Crafters Companion, and they're older, and I don't like it. So yeah. But I love alcohol ink and I love playing with it. So I'll do one.
I like, so let me show you something about the alcohol inks. I like the Altenew because you get so much more. I mean, there's a lot in this bottle.
I like that. And I have some on order that aren't that are coming in like a day or two. So
But
yeah.
they don't, and for some you may not want this to do this. They don't show variations in color. So these are all well, not all, but all of these are Altenew. But the Ranger, let me show you an example. The Ranger has you can't see this. You're looking at me. Hold on. Okay, these are the Altenews.
Right.
This is the Ranger, and they have much more depth of color in them.
Oh yeah.
Shades. Yeah.
Oh, I like those. Yeah. And I saw that Tim Holtz just came out with some new alcohol inks from Ranger. So I'm like, I kind of would like to invest in those too. So
I mean, they're different. It depends on what you're doing with them.
Yeah.
These are more true to color. But sometimes I like
the variations too. I really
like
do.
Variations. I mean, this is quite spectacular. And
yeah, that is.
Yeah, even the black this is pitch black.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's eggplant, but this is pitch black. This one is denim.
Nice.
But you don't get nearly as much.
Yeah, that's
much smaller.
Yeah, you kind of, I guess, choose your battles and what you want it for.
Right. But using them with embossing folders, I just think that comes out so fabulous.
It does. Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Yeah. And we just couldn't do all of the ones I showed you because, I mean, we'd be here all night. Oh, ladies, thank you. Let's do this gallery view so I can see. Oh, Leslie, let's spotlight for you. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Leslie, show it up again.
I just hit the spotlight.
Oh, that's pretty, Leslie.
That's really nice.
Really,
yeah.
What was it? Stones or something, mosaic stones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, pretty.
That is the fastest I've ever ink blended. I didn't have it out at the beginning, so I was gathering supplies as we went.
Oh, I like that. Good colors.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So it's the same. This is the same colors you used.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a retreat recently and I used that sentiment set. I know it's here and I thought I had everything put away, but I can't find it. So this is
Oh,
the
pretty.
Yeah.
vellum.
Yeah.
This vellum was delivered while you were finishing up your card, your vellum card.
You caught right up. Yeah. You caught right up.
Yeah, well, I did the ink and then I had to blow dry it and wipe it and
Yeah. But that came out. Yeah.
But yeah, I
I'm-
was so thrilled with, I thought Amazon was going to deliver earlier. They said they were, and then they're like, oh yeah, we lost our driver.
Is that the package for it?
Yeah, that's what just
Yeah.
arrived.
Right, but in your other hand, yes, just so other people can see what it was.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
used Lori's link for this vellum, and it is much thicker than most of my other vellums, all of my other vellums. This is 105.2 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice weight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Cool.
it's not too very expensive.
yeah.
I mean, it's Amazon, right? Oh, look, I can turn this
And
around.
yeah, and I love being able to just, I ordered it last night.
Anybody else to share? Thank you all for joining me today.
Thank you.
Look at, Sandy, were you able to find the link? Did you put the link in for my YouTube channel?
I did put the link in. It's at the
All right.
top of it's at the top of the chat.
All right, great. And for those of you that have taken my class before, you've seen the videos, but I maybe have more there than including the one on backgrounds. And I've added some things on Zentangle. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and
I put it on again for you right there.
great, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I've been I got away from it for a while because I've been so involved with the cards, and then I came back to it. So hold on a sec.
Lori, can I ask a question kind of unrelated?
Absolutely.
I'm wondering how many of you guys are coming to the Card Maker Success Summit in August?
Oh, she's presenting.
Yep.
I am.
There
I'm
with
one of
her.
the
Yep.
40 presenters. Awesome. I will see you there. I'm
Yeah.
excited about it. This will be my 4th time presenting, so
Cool.
I'm happy about that.
She's famous. I'm lucky
Oh
to
yeah.
have her as a friend.
Oh, you're so silly. You're so silly.
Here's another where's my camera? This is
Ooh.
I just embossed it on gray paper, and
Here, let
then
me spotlight you, Lori. Hold on a second. Let me spotlight you so you see it better.
okay. There.
Pretty.
There we go.
And then I keep trying to straighten it out and I'm going the wrong way. And then I just used I think I used probably not a brush, but one of these of course can't find one of these kind of tools, you know, with the foamy
Oh, yeah.
and then just gently did that. And then I use
Mhm.
shoot. I am going the wrong way. Okay, I'll get it on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's going the wrong way. And then I splattered it with some gold, you know,
Nice.
splatter.
That's pretty.
Lot you can do. So please jump in and start using them. Post on Sandy's Facebook page if you've what you've done today, and if you go ahead and watch the video and what you create with it. I'd love to see that.